Hello friends, in this session I am going to take up for discussion a very important standing committee in Parliament functioning of India, and that is departmentally related standing committees. I would just like you all to remember that the departmentally related standing committees are popular within the functioning of Indian Parliament in the name of DRSCs, departmentally related standing committees. And this is completely an Indian innovation. We have innovated within the parliamentary functioning, and we have innovated this in such a way that today many other countries of the world, they have sent delegation to India, which has observed the functioning of DRSCs, and they have also adopted similar mechanism within their parliamentary functioning. So we are all set to start the discussion, but on the onset of the discussion itself, I would just like you all to remember the concept of departmentally related standing committees, completely Indian innovation. It's an Indian innovation. But to understand the concept of departmentally related standing committees, you will have to have understanding about a very important term, and that term is guillotine. That term is guillotine. Now, as far as this term guillotine is concerned, see, it's an instrument or the machine which is used for cutting papers. And in criminology, particularly this word originated from France, and this word was an important word within criminology, and we were using this word guillotine in French criminology for a very brutal and heinous crime in which a person will be killed by beheading. So his neck will be cut with sharp-edged knife, and that whole killing was termed as guillotine. In Hindi we call it gala ret kar marna. In English we call it, beheading a person with sharp-edged knife. So this is what is the meaning of guillotine in criminology. But in parliamentary functioning, we are using this word guillotine for those demand for grants of different ministries which are passed by parliament without discussion, and the excuse will be that we don't have time. So I would just like you all to remember that guillotine word in parliamentary functioning is used for certain demand for grants of various ministries or departments, right, which are accepted and approved by parliament, accepted or approved by Parliament, approved by Parliament. And why it is approved by Parliament? Done due to paucity of time, lack of time. Done due to paucity or lack of time. Paucity of time. Okay. And this, right? So have you understood the concept of guillotine in Parliament? Why we use the word guillotine? Because it was actually killing the financial control of Parliament over executive, because Parliament is approving the demand for grant of different ministries or department without discussion, because they are saying we don't have time to discuss this much, so approved. So this is what is the meaning of the word guillotine. If you understand guillotine, then only you can understand the way the concept of departmentally related standing committees evolved and established within the parliamentary functioning of India. So I hope you have understood the term guillotine. So in the world of crime, guillotine is a heinous crime in which a person is killed by cutting the neck with sharp-edged knife. But guillotine in parliamentary functioning is the term which is used for certain demands for grant of different ministries and department which are approved by Parliament without discussion due to paucity of time. And since this kind of incidence in Parliament is actually killing the financial control which Parliament should have over the government, this is why we started using the word guillotine, right? So guillotine word, if you have understood, then I would be, successful in explaining you the concept of departmentally related standing committee. Now, what you should remember, I don't know whether you are aware with the fact or not, that if you compare in 1950-51, if you see total government expenditure in India, it was 967 crore. Okay. And if you see this in 2019-20, it is, approximately 27 lakh crore, more than 27 lakh, 27 lakh crore. You see, you must have heard within your family, your grandfather saying that in our days, we used to get a salary of 500 rupees. But today, the young generation will go to PVR to watch a movie and they will take ticket worth 500 rupees. Okay, what I am just interested in telling you, government expenditure has increased significantly. And not only the quantum of money which government was spending has increased in 70-75 years, but the heads under which government is making expenditure has also got expanded. During Nehru government, there was no ministry called Ministry of IT, Ministry for Electronics. Okay, because in those days, there was no computers. But today, if you see, so many ministries are there. Within the ministries, so many departments are there. Within the department, so many organizations are there. And this is the reason why the government is making expenditure under different heads. And this is why, the demand for grant of different ministries have increased significantly. Now, when these demands for grant are put before Parliament for approval, there is a tendency in the Parliament to approve many demands without discussion. And when this incidence increased, it diluted the concept of financial control over executive, parliamentary financial control over executive. So I would just like you all to remember few things, and then you can understand how this concept of DRSCs emerged and evolved. See, incidence, right? Incidence of guillotine started increasing, right? Started increasing in parliamentary functioning of India in 1970s, okay, and 80s, 70s and 80s, the incidence of guillotine started increasing. Now what happened? Because of this, parliamentary control right, parliamentary control over government's finance started weakening. So it started weakening the kind of financial control which parliament should have over government's finance, because parliament was developing a tendency where they will approve the demand for grant of different ministries and department without discussion, and they will say that they don't have time. And this was a challenging situation which emerged within the Parliament of India. And in 1989, for the first time, but in a formal way, 1990, right, in a formal way in 1993, okay, in 1993, Parliament innovated the mechanism of DRSCs, okay, and these DRSCs helped Parliament strengthen its financial control over executive. This concept which was, designed and developed and innovated by the Parliament, that helped Parliament to re-establish its financial control over executive, and this was in 1993. So the concept of DRSC, right, the concept of DRSC evolved in 1993. What was the concept, right? What was the concept which evolved in 1993? 1993, DRSC concept which evolved, and it got established within the parliamentary functioning of India. So within the concept, right, within the concept which evolved in 1993, I would just like you all, 17 DRSCs were constituted. 17 DRSCs were constituted. 17 departmentally related standing committees were constituted, each with membership of 45. Each with membership of 45. So in each committee, how many members? 45 members were there. And out of 45 members, 30 of them from Lok Sabha and 15 of them were from Rajya Sabha. Okay. So 45 members in each DRSC, 30 members in the DRSC from Lok Sabha, 15 members from Rajya Sabha, and right, and parties were given representation based on their representation in two houses. Okay. So what was the mechanism? What was the, let us assume, right, let us assume, I am just giving an example. Let us assume Bharatiya Janata Party has 50% representation in Lok Sabha. So in each committee, 15 out of 30 Lok Sabha members will be from which party? Bharatiya Janata Party. And how was this possible? Because members in these committees will be elected through proportional representation by means of single transferable vote system. So what you should remember, parties were given representation in these committees based on their representation in two houses of parliament. If one party is having a representation of 10% in Lok Sabha, then 10% representation in all DRSC will be for that party, particular party. And this is how each of these DRSCs emerged as mini parliament. They emerged as mini parliament. Why they emerged as mini parliament? Because representation to both the houses of parliament. So Lok Sabha is there, Rajya Sabha is there. And what is the ratio of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha? 1:2. Okay. So what we can say, right? What we can say, you just see, the total strength of, right? The total strength of Lok Sabha is 543 and total strength of Rajya Sabha is 245. So we attempted maintaining the same ratio in each of the DRSC, and we gave representation to all parties in each of these DRSCs based on, right, based on what? Based on their representation in two houses of parliament. And very important, and we said that there will never be overlapping. There will never be overlapping between Council of Minister and any of DRSC. No overlapping. What is the meaning? What is the meaning? That no member from the Council of Ministers can become the member of any of the departmentally related standing committee. And if a member of departmentally related standing committee will be inducted in ministry, with immediate effect, that person will lose the membership of the committee. But at no point of time, there can be overlapping between any DRSC and Council of Ministers. Have you understood this? Very, very important. So what was? No minister is eligible to be included in DRSC, and if a minister will be included, if a member of DRSC will be included within the Council of Ministers, then with immediate effect, that person will lose the membership of the committee. This was the provision, meaning at no point of time there will be any overlapping between any of the DRSC and the Council of Ministers. And you know what was the, right, if you have understood, and the term, right, the term of the committee, right, the term of the committee, the term of office of each committee, the term of office of each committee was 5 or rather you can say is 1 year. So this committee is for 1 year, and next year again 17 DRSCs, new DRSCs will be constituted. Have you understood? So I would just like you all to remember few things. Number one, the concept of DRSCs evolved formally in 1993. It is completely a parliamentary innovation, Indian parliamentary innovation. Within the concept of DRSC, 17 DRSCs were constituted for the first time in 1993, and in each DRSC, 45 members were there, 30 members were from Lok Sabha, 15 members were from Rajya Sabha, and all parties were given representation in each of the DRSC based on their representation in two houses of parliament, and to an extent possible and feasible, not that hard and fast rule, but to an extent possible and feasible. And this is the reason why each of the DRSC evolved as mini parliament, because representation to both the houses of parliament and representation to all parties, made these DRSCs almost like mini parliament. And there was a provision that the Council of Ministers and any DRSC at any point of time, there will not be any overlapping, and the term of office of each of the DRSC is 1 year. Now, what work was given to DRSC? See, ministries were, under this concept, ministries were mapped to a specific DRSC. Okay, so each ministry was mapped to a specific DRSC. I would give example and then you can understand. What was said? Ministry of Defence will be mapped to DRSC 1. So departmentally related standing committee number 1. Ministry of Home Affairs to departmentally related standing committee number 2. Then Ministry of Rural Development, Ministry of Urban Development to DRSC number 3. So if bigger ministries are there, then individually mapped to one committee, and if a small ministries are there, then a group of ministries mapped to a specific DRSC. But ministries were mapped to a specific DRSCs, and these DRSCs were given the work to scrutinize, and they were given the work to examine and consider demand for grant of concerned ministry, and then they have to submit a report, right? Submit a report, and when they are submitting the report, they are not supposed, right? When they are submitting the report, they are not supposed to suggest any cut, right? Supposed to suggest any cut, but they will examine, they will ask question. Okay, so the committee will see that how much money the ministry is demanding, right, to meet its expenditure, and they will ask the ministry to justify what demands they are putting forward, and in this regard they will prepare a report, and that report will be put before the two houses of parliament. So this was the work which was assigned. Now what happened? All of a sudden, the 45 members will sit together and will ask so many questions. They started feeling, that they are very powerful because they can ask question, why you want to spend this much money? Is there no other way in which you can do the work which you are planning to do by spending less? For similar nature thing in the past, how much money you have spent? All such things were being asked. And this idea, right, helped in re-establishing the financial control of parliament over executive, right? So this concept helped parliament helped parliament helped parliament re-establish strict financial control over executive or government. Now what we see, when the two houses will be in session on small political issues, there will be disruption in the house and the house will be adjourned. But after the house is adjourned, the members of the two houses of parliament immediately will go in the committee room where they will, sit together and will start examining and considering the demand for grant of different ministries. Now, when parliament could sense and feel that this innovation has helped parliament, right? This innovation has helped parliament in re-establishing its financial control over executive, then they started expanding the scope of work of DSCs. A scope of work of DRSCs got expanded. In Hindi, there is a saying, विकल्प संकल्प को कमजोर करता है. In English, if we create too much alternative, it will dilute the commitment to achieve something. So parliament thought that when they sit outside house in committee room, they can sit and work better. So they thought that more and more work should be given to committee rather than those things to be discussed in the house. So this is the reason why, after seeing the benefit which was arising out of this concept, the Parliament of India decided to expand the scope of work of DRSCs. So today if we see the function of DRSC function, if we see functions, if we see, so even today the prime function of DRSC is to consider demand for grant, of ministry concerned. But now they also have to examine bills pertaining to concerned ministry. Okay. So what is today any bill which is related with any ministry, when is tabled in the house, before the house will discuss, it is referred to the departmentally related standing committee. Not only that, right, it also has to consider annual report of concerned ministry, What you should remember, each ministry has to prepare a report annually about its functioning, what all the ministry has done in the whole year, and that report is tabled in parliament for discussion. But the moment it is tabled in the parliament, it is referred to the concerned departmentally related standing committee for consideration, for study, and only the report which is submitted by that DRSC is what is discussed in the house. So this is also now within the scope of work of DRSC, and now even it has to consider national basic long term policy document, national basic long term policy document of ministry concerned. Okay. For example, recently the Union Cabinet has approved National Education Policy 2020. Now, when this policy will be presented in the House, it will be referred to the departmentally related standing committee for education, or for education ministry or human resource development ministry, whatever you may say. So when we saw the benefit of DRSC in terms of examining and considering and studying the demand for grant of the ministry, we decided to expand the scope of work for DRSC. So today if you will go to parliament, you may see in camera that during the session, the members of the two houses are not very seriously participating in the debate and the discussion, but when same members, behind the camera, when they are sitting in the committee room, they are very seriously discussing what they have to discuss. Now, when we expanded the scope of work for DRSC, then what we found? We found that pendency started increasing before DRSCs. So too much work they have to do. So now even before DRSC, pendency started growing. Okay. So pending work volume increased. So we thought we designed something, in 2003. So what you should remember, 1993 and in 2003. So in 93, how many DRSCs were constituted? Number of DRSCs constituted 17. We decided to increase this to 24 in 2003. So we decided that we will increase the number of DRSCs from 17 to 24. But membership, what used to be the membership in each DRSC? It used to be 45, but in 2003 we decided to reduce it to 31. When it used to be 45, what used to be the breakup? 30, 15. 30 from Lok Sabha and 15 from Rajya Sabha. Okay. when we decided to increase the number of DRSC, we reduced the membership from 45 to 31 with this breakup that 21 of them will be from Lok Sabha and 10 of them will be from Rajya Sabha. Okay, 10 of them will be from Rajya Sabha. Okay, and what is so important, right? What is so important that out of 31 DRSCs which we have today, okay, out of 24 DRSCs which we have today, out of 24 DRSCs which we have today, out of these 24, 16 of them and 8 of them, 16 of them work under the, right, work under direction of Speaker of Lok Sabha, and 8 of them are working under direction of Chairman of Lok Sabha, Chairman of Rajya Sabha. So today, how many DRSCs are there in India? 24 within the parliamentary functioning, and 16 of them, they are working under the control, command, direction, supervision, mentorship of Speaker of the Lok Sabha, and 8 of them are working under the control, command of the Chairman of Rajya Sabha. Okay, so this is parliamentary innovation. Now, whenever any delegation is coming from any other country which has parliamentary form of government, they are really impressed with this idea which evolved within the parliamentary functioning of India, and this idea has helped us, re-establishing better control of parliament over executive. So this is all about departmentally related standing committees.